Hello and good morning, my friends, and welcome to my studio. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan. This is Painting in Your PJs live with Minette. I'm in my favorite new pair of summer pajamas that I don't really want to take off. I could live in them all day. They are so soft and comfy, and I got them at Costco, which makes them even better because I don't care if I get paint all over them, which happens a lot here in the studio. So painting in your PJs is all about using art as a creative process of self-discovery and personal growth. My work is dedicated to supporting women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s to live their best life, to find their purpose, to find the way that they want to continue to make a contribution. Even if you are retired, shifting careers, so much is happening really from 40 on, but especially when we get to those mid 50s and on into our 70s, we're raising kids, maybe grandkids, and aging parents are we're taking care of aging parents. Our bodies are shifting and changing all the time. It's a lot. And I have found that art is one of the best ways to really get underneath the surface of what it is that we are feeling and be able to express those feelings in a way that is transformational, creates a breakthrough, but can also be playful and fun. The hard, deep emotional work, sometimes adding a little bit of lightness and a lot of imagery can really shift the opportunity to move through things and release them in a way that maybe you haven't tried yet. So this month, throughout the rest of August here on the channel, I'm going to be making paper dolls. So ever since our retreat in June, where we essentially made paper dolls called Travelers, it was the Time Travelers Retreat. We have our next in-person retreat is coming up in the beginning of October. And I have been obsessed with creating these characters, and we have our next mythical makeover experience the weekend of August 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there. The link to that is in the description of this video. It's all about this amazing myth for women in midlife called the Queen's Cloak. We're going to make paper dolls. We're actually going to create some magical capes, but I got a little obsessed with making paper dolls, so I thought I would share my current obsession with you about how we can use paper dolls as another form of intuitive collage to support and nurture our own personal growth, to help us deal with emotions and big feelings and all of the things that may be going on around us. So let me go ahead and shift my camera and let's dive right in here. Super excited to be with all of you this morning. All right, get my screen all set up here. See if we can get just a little more light on those without having too much light on there. All right, beautiful. Okay, taking a sip of coffee here. So I'm a huge fan of the Gudrun Shodrin catalog. I think I'm saying that correctly. I already took the cover off of this one, and it's full of cutouts. I'll show those to you in a minute. So these catalogs are so beautiful. I love her designs. I love here some of her own sketches. She always includes some of her own artwork in these catalogs. The models are just absolutely beautiful. Plus they're always in a variety of different positions, colors, textures, so much magic here. And so when I was flipping through this, I often cut out the people from these catalogs and use them in my collage work. Really love this pattern this month. Love her style, love her clothes. I need a pair of boots for one of my dolls. So I'm going to go in here and find some boots and maybe some hands. So they're all in different positions and they're just fabulous for using in collage. So over the weekend while I was watching the Olympics, I spent a bunch of time and I cut out a bunch of these characters from the catalog, looking definitely for ones that were moving in different directions, standing in different positions. These would be great for any. This one was, she was on the cover. I love her. This feels like the Olympics right now, arms raised in celebration. Even though she was holding a big thing of straw on the cover of the catalog. And I have a few others here that I'm working on as well. So I cut these out, and then I actually took some time to trace the different outfits that they were wearing to use as patterns for the dresses for the paper dolls to make it a little bit easier on myself. And then I just made copies of these on my printer, but now I have these guides that I can use over and over again I can even add now, other heads, other feet to these, but I have these great ideas for dresses for the paper dolls that are all my own ideas and patterns. And here's a couple more. So I've got stacks of stuff here and ones that are in progress. And so I created these just sitting around playing a little bit yesterday. See if we can zoom in a little bit this morning. So really trying to change up the faces. I added a little bit of just marker on her face, this cute little fairy. And the theme of this one is dream every day. I felt like she wasn't finished, like maybe I want to add a little bit of lace to her, like a little lacy skirt over the top here. Good morning, Yvonne. So this is one paper doll that I started. All right. They're long, so I'm trying to make sure, right, that and you can see I've added a little sparkly to her boots with a little copper. But this theme of dream every day, so often I hear from women in midlife, especially women often in their 60s and even into their 70s, that dreams are different. They change, and maybe we're not as connected to our dreams as we were in our youth. And I think it's so important. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a summer cold. Just annoying, nothing, no big deal, but I am just coughing and a little snuffly, so I apologize. And we get disconnected from our dreams, and we forget that we have infinite capacity for dreaming and setting goals and having a vision for our life, no matter whether we have 50 years or 10 years ahead of us. It's so important to continue to dream, to daydream, to imagine what else is possible in our lives going forward. And so I really loved this phrase cut out of a piece of scrapbook paper, dream every day. And then this one, she's still a little bit in progress here. This one is all about new beginnings. So much of the work I do is really about supporting women in midlife to find those new beginnings. It can be tough. Our kids are getting older, going out on their own. Our parents are aging, right? Our careers are changing. Everything around us is changing. And I think that we have to believe that starting again is possible. So this one needs some feet, and I'm kind of feeling like maybe she needs some hands as well, but loving how these are coming along. And I was just sitting here before I started live this morning with this piece, and this needle and thread were just sitting on my table. And so I thought, okay, let me come in here and just add a little more texture. And I'm finding with using all this paper and these magazine images that if we go in and you actually poke your holes first, it's much easier to get that straight line going and follow the paper. And I'm just having more fun with stitching these days. Good morning, Judy. Welcome. So we are going to spend our next few weeks together making paper dolls of all different kinds. If you just joined me in the beginning of the video, I shared that I am using cutouts from the Gudrun Shodron catalog, which are perfect for this and altering those figures to create some original paper dolls that all express an aspect of self, an aspect of the things that, you know, I'm personally thinking about in my own life right now. You know, what are the things that maybe I've lost sight of or need to reconnect to? And I want to encourage you to think about, is there an area of your life right now that you could be thinking about new beginnings or reconnecting to your dreams? It's kind of our theme today. And we'll kind of have different themes as we go along. Put string on that out of the way. So it's amazing. So in my mythical makeover, and you can just barely see that yellow on the screen, in my mythical makeover class, which is happening at the end of this month. If you have not registered, I encourage you to get registered. It is not this, I think we still have two full weekends. So the 22nd through the 24th, I believe, are the dates. And I'm just going to tie this off a little bit. This one is based on a beautiful short story called The Queen's Cloak. And in this experience, it's a myth, an adult myth, a modern fairy tale for midlife women. It is a beautiful, beautiful story that I absolutely love. But somebody commented in the classroom, so there was some bonus tutorials on painting fabric and stitching on fabric. And she said, you know, I always hated to sew, but she loved how this added texture. Well, I never liked to sew either. My aunt and my mom were amazing seamstresses, made clothes, and my mom did machine embroidery, all different kinds of things. And me and sewing machines still don't get along very well. And but there's something about hand stitching that draws me in. I think because it's like mark making, where it just gets my own hand in there. So here we have this doll all about new beginnings, and she needs some boots and some hands. Oh my gosh, and look at that little birdie. That little birdie might have to go on something at some point. So don't be afraid to kind of mix things up when you're making paper dolls. So you'll see I will be, actually that hand is really good. I will be using paper and fabric and ribbon and all kinds of materials, book pages, maybe some, you know, handmade collage fodder, gel printing. Oh, these necklaces are so adorable. I didn't even see those before. So I have all kinds of fun ideas. There's no limit to our imagination of what's possible when we start to create. Maybe what she needs are just she needs some legs on here. So I'm looking for something that is a bit of a match. Actually, those are kind of small. All right, we're going to make these work. So this is why a fashion magazine like this is great for making dolls, because it has lots of individual parts as well as the characters overall. Another great catalog for this is if you follow The Woman Within. They produce a catalog. Land's End has great catalogs. This is the one I want to work on next, but you can see I've pulled out all kinds of fun different colors and things to start to work with this week. And I'm not looking to have these be perfect or super realistic. You know, all the hands and feet don't have to match. This is about using your imagination to create a doll that represents an aspect of you or something emotional perhaps that you're working on, or a creative idea you have. A lot of times I will create a collage when I am working on something new and I want to really pull in the energy of all the women that are coming to join me. I think at this point we already have like 175 people that have signed up for the Queen's Cloak. I couldn't be more thrilled. I know, aren't the stripy socks cute, Yvonne? I put a name, and the link to their website is in the description of the video, but it's the Gudrun Shodron catalog, and they are absolutely beautiful. The catalog is free. Their clothes are just delicious, and this is their fall collection. So I always keep these and use them in collage. So because they have so many beautiful figures, and I've already gone through and selected and pulled out a bunch of the figures. Judy, I see part of a comment. Looks like all my technology is working okay. You are welcome there. It's super fun to play with. And I'm actually just gonna cut these little stripy ones off, and even just those striped stockings. Judy, I think you already signed up for it, right? So in the classroom, there is a link to the story. You actually do not need the book. It's a short story, and there's a link to a blog post with the story, so you don't need to buy the book. Most of the book is just kind of the author's critical analysis of the story. The story itself is quite short, so if you look in the classroom, there's a link to the story where you can read the story online. So feel free to, you do not need the book for this. So just make sure you read the story. And I have made that story available to you. And just if you can't find it or you need some help, please just feel free to send me an email and I will help you. They do have the book on Amazon, but like I said, I don't think that you need to, you do not need to purchase the book itself. Okay, so she feels a little more complete. Look at her cute stripy socks, and I love that they're blue. And let's get these hands over here. It feels like she just needs some hands. And creating paper dolls definitely requires a love of fussy cutting. And being patient and taking your time. And every time I do that fussy cutting or the slow stitching or my zentangle, they're all practices that are mindful in nature because they make us slow down and focus. Okay, the hands are a little bit big, but that's okay. She needs some hands. And do I want that blue? Yep, that blue is fine. Love just having fun putting these final touches on this. And in this original version of this one, she has her hand tucked in a pocket. So I think what that needs is just to get glued down there so it looks again like that hand is in the pocket. I had cut it apart and able to work on the clothing and the dress, but there she is. She is all about new beginnings, and I picked the unicorn because it made me think of childhood and my love of unicorn, and unicorns are all about magic and myth. And I tried to add some white to this to brighten it up. And this is from a old kids, maybe a highlights or something, and it's newsprint. And the newsprint absorbed all of that ink, and the ink wouldn't stick at all. Ink also doesn't love magazine images like I have put here. So I'm just going to stick a little bit of matte medium on top of that unicorn because I want to come in and see if I can brighten that unicorn up just a little bit. I used some colored pencil to add some detail to her face there, but now she's feeling much more complete than she was before. Yeah, hand, she's got her feet. She feels like a complete paper doll. Again, here was the one that represents the importance not of just new beginnings, but really connecting to our dreams. I've got some little fairies on here. Again, that feeling of looking for the magic in the everyday, that just treating our lives both as sacred and magical just can really shift our energy. And I feel like she needs, I don't know, some dangly bits, some, maybe some ribbon or a little bit of lace. I'm not sure. But I want to show you how I might start from scratch with one of these. And as I was going through my box of goodies, I found all this fun black and yellow stuff, which was super inspiring, including, I don't know if I'll use this, but this is a piece of yellow vellum. This is maybe a little piece of rice paper. So these have all this wonderful texture. Been definitely, I know, aren't they fun? And I love black and yellow together, not colors that I personally, yellow makes me look yellow, not a good color for me. All right, let me move these aside. And where is my cutout? Where did she go? Did she get moved into my stack? I have a huge stack of ones where I've already started to gather and sort bits and pieces. Let's see, she must have gotten put back over here in this stash. Bear with me for just a second. So these are all the ones, if you missed the beginning, that I have already cut out. And then I went and traced all of the different dresses and with pencil and photocopied them on my printer so that I have copies of the dresses. This is her dress. But where is she? She was tucked in with all those papers. Well, I don't know how this can happen where everything is like right here in front of me. She's not stuck inside. I love this. Is from a National Geographic. That sort of fun Cosmo paper is going to make a cool outfit for something. All right, are you stuck inside of here? Okay, this is hilarious. Maybe I'm not meant to work on this doll today. I know she's right here in front of me somewhere, but I guess we're going to focus on something different. She's big, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have some fun working on her. All right, clearly not to be in the moment. We'll save her for Thursday and we'll see what else we've got here. So I loved this. I started down the path of doing this and ended up, of course, cleaning out a bunch of collage bits. Loved this little geranium painting and this fun little horse. And I have this phrase that says, want to get to know yourself better. And in order to get to know ourselves better, we got to pay attention. We have some butterfly wings. We have to, I kind of like her. We have to make time for what I love to call deep reflection, for sitting with ourselves in an artful way, kind of really loving her. I was playing with some new colors of acrylic inks and thought that would make a great dress, and this is going to make some great wings. I love her too, and so here's an example of where I traced her dress, and then I can use that as a pattern. I found this face, which will go on one of the dolls. And this is the pants and the top from this doll. So now I can come back, right? And I can create my own dolls because now I have all the patterns for the fabric, which kind of cracked me up because I've never made paper dolls before. I don't know that I played with them a lot as a kid. And I'm definitely going to do something with this little kitty cat with one of the dolls. I'm finding I'm wanting to add little animals and meaningful elements to them. And so maybe cutting this open so it flips closed feels really fun. But again, thinking about my relationship with myself and also thinking about my relationship with childhood creativity. I don't remember playing with paper dolls. I loved coloring books. Okay, I think we're going to go with her because I already have the fabric printed out and some nice butterfly wings. So I could just paint her as well and make her totally my own. Actually really love the colors that she's wearing, but look how simple it is to take her and turn her into a fairy. My grandmother did gorgeous photo illustrations that were very paper doll-like. My mom said, I never saw them, but my mom said she loved to make paper dolls. My grandmother did, and both my mom and my aunt were artists in their lifetime, so lots of history in my family of making a variety of different kinds of art. My aunt was an amazing weaver and a quilter. And you saw last week some of the quilt squares she painted. I didn't get to see a lot of the things that were my granny's. So I'm going to trace my outfit here. And I almost wanted to turn it over and trace it, but if you do that, you got to make sure you trace it upside down so that the pattern is going to end up going the same way as your doll. And there was something about these big green leaves that really spoke to me of growth and new beginnings. All right, let's see what we can create today. And I like to, when I'm creating the paper dolls, start with the base layer of the dress and work up. That adds some thickness and some stiffness to the dolls. I think I'm going to be inspired by this phrase, want to know yourself better. And you can do this with any magazine images, right? Or with any printed images. I like starting with the full body. Oh, I love that, Yvonne. I bought a box of them of really old ones when I was in Oregon. And they were already all cut out, popped out, which is great. And, but I haven't done anything with them yet. I think I want to make photocopies of them and use them. Okay, so I need a pencil here. So I'm just going to create my own little bit of graphite on this image here. On some of them, I actually did it right on the back of the paper doll as well, but I want to be able to see the lines of the dress a little bit better. It's not a very soft lead, so we'll see if this one works or not. Close enough. So I want to be able to see where the details are so I can come in and add some of those details, add some different fabrics on here. I can just see that. Cut out that neckline. What I did not get was I want to cut out this piece here. I'm going to go ahead and come in here, I think, with this. I just need a different pencil. Oh, here's one. Much better. I want to be able to see those lines because then I can go over those lines. So that first pencil that I tried to do this with was a hard pencil, a hard drawing pencil, a 2H hard. H means hard. And this is just a plain old number 2 pencil. So the lead in this is meant to stay in place and not to be used for shading, right? It stays put. So it's not great for using for my own carbon paper here. I'm also writing on a very soft surface at the moment. So when you're doing this kind of tracing, you actually really want a hard surface because then you get those nice lines under there. All right, there we go. And if I don't want to change the fabric, but maybe I just want to bring some of those elements of the design back, don't be afraid to draw or write. So here, this definitely needs maybe some of this nice fun green. So I actually think I'm just going to cut that bottom piece off. I left it on the original. Oops, cut her dress there. Maybe we need a little piece of lace. Just start to look at the elements that you have around and create one. And I love the look on her face because she feels very self-reflective. She's sort of looking off into the distance here as if she's being sort of thoughtful about life. Make this a little straighter, just a little lacy along the edge, kind of like it's that ruffle underneath. And creating paper dolls like this is very much like working with other kinds of intuitive collage. So from here, I can turn to my deck of collage prompts and pick one out and actually have a conversation or dialogue. What is it that these dolls have to say to me? What's the importance? Why did I choose dream every day? So I feel like each one of these personas that represents an aspect of me has a message, right? Has a gift, a teaching. And so making the dolls is incredibly fun, but the magic really happens when I take the time to sit down and work with the dolls at a deeper level. There we go. Get that fit a little bit better on there. And I'm liking the green. It's kind of busy. I almost feel like I want to come in with more of this black and do a little hand drawing on here, but I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces down. I have been going through so many glue sticks lately. And I'm almost looking at, I love the jumper, so I'm almost wondering if I actually want to just cut this off a little bit and have her little white shirt show underneath. Everything is an experiment, right? And it may or may not work. It may not work perfectly. Okay, that's better. Starting to look more like it's a little jumper. I think, the jumpers are something that you see frequently in Gudrun, excuse me, Gudrun Sodrun's work. Okay, and I got some extra glue on there. And Yvonne, you said that about the paper dolls, and now I'm thinking that I want to maybe combine some of the dresses from that with some of this work. And do I have an X-Acto knife here? I do. So I want to come in and cut out this little piece here. So the more we take our time to just fill in some of these, little tiny details, the more realistic they look, and everything is optional, right? You can make them as simple or as elaborate as you choose. Okay, she's coming together. This is going to go on her somewhere. Hi, Carol. Good morning. I'm feeling like maybe she needs some color, and we can bring in some of these blooming geraniums. Carol, we're starting on a couple of weeks here of making paper dolls. I have been having more fun ever since my retreat in June, where we made, and we didn't call them paper dolls, we called them our travelers, our primary character that was our guide the weekend of the retreat. They ended up being like paper dolls, and I noticed as I've been working in my other art journal the last few weeks, the desire to not stick things down, right? To have them move and play. And so what I'm thinking is I want to make some paper dolls, and then I actually want to create some settings or some scenes to put them in my art journal. So that's kind of my plan and where I'm going. That's what she needs, is that little pop of color, right? To remember that we are always in bloom also. And I grabbed a box of ribbon this morning. I've got a big piece of lace, but I think it's too creamy. She's a little bit more white than cream colored. But I think in this giant box here, I can probably find something. I love this sari ribbon, which it's always really hard to find the ends of the sari ribbon. I love this piece has just, I know it's a little blurry, sorry, a little piece of the green polka dots on there. So let's play with a little bit of sari ribbon over the years, you just start to collect. Look, there's a fun star. So many different bits and pieces of things. This is a great use for lots of that little leftover bits and pieces that you have hanging around the studio. Or one person who's already signed up for the Queen's Cloak said she's been collecting things from her mother and grandmother, so pieces of ribbon and fabric. This is a great use for, what do I do with all of this stuff, right? What do I do with all of this stuff? Well, it doesn't have to be complicated. We can use it for all kinds of fun things. All right, something about, no, that's too wintry. Maybe she needs a little bit of a belt here. So now this is the fun part. I've got the basis of the design down, and I can come in here and just have some fun with adding some different elements that give her some character and bring her to the life. And the more time that I spend with her, the more I get to know her and what she has to say to me. And she really feels like contemplation, like taking the time to pause. She looks deep in thought. Let's see if we want this to get tied on the front. I got to glue that geranium on before I lose it. This is pretty bulky, but I think I can glue it down without having to tie a big old square knot in there. So I'm gonna get some healthy dose. And if the glue stick doesn't work, I would come in with just a little bit of double stick tape on there. Just hold that down for just a second. I'm noticing for paper dolls also a glue gun can be your best friend to really come in, and because I really want this piece here to lay down a little better, so I could either stitch it on. All right, good start. Let's get her geraniums on. And her butterfly wings on. And such a good reminder, again, our theme today is self-reflection, getting to know ourselves, leaning into our own dreams and visions. It's never too late to have a new beginning. It's so easy in the sort of busyness and craziness of everyday life to lose sight of our own dreams. We can get caught up in caretaking of others. Okay, I think I want to cut this in a little bit smaller here. I'm obsessed lately with adding texture to things, right? To making them super tactile. There's something about that touch, being able to add that little bit of touch to things. Nope, don't need the lace. Get that edge nice and glued down. And I'm feeling like each of these needs some kind of companion, but I haven't found her companion yet. Maybe a sweet little birdie on her shoulder, but she definitely is going to get these pretty butterfly wings cut out of some handmade paper with my die cut machine. And again, I think it's when we think about dreams and new beginnings, it's also connecting back to our belief in magic and sort of magic in the everyday, right? The magic is all around us. And it doesn't matter if you call it magic or sacred or coincidence, but opportunity is everywhere. All right, I don't think she wants to get the words on her, but I absolutely love making these dolls. And as I said, this is just the beginning of the getting to know the energy of all of these dolls. It starts with the making of the dolls, and then there's making time to really sit with the dolls, to get to know them, to do some journaling and some dialogue with them. We'll take some different journal prompts, but for each of these, there is a gift and a message that each of these beauties has to share with me. And just like in every area of our life, like we really do carry multitudes within. We have so many different aspects of ourselves, our belief systems, our emotions, and the more that we're willing to just connect with those emotions, the more that we have the opportunity to dream, to believe in new beginnings, and not simply get caught up in the everyday of our life. And suddenly I have a new private client I'm working with, and she just turned 50, and she's like, I don't want to get to 70 and have regrets that I didn't pursue these dreams. And so I want to encourage each of you to pursue your dreams, and to do that by connecting back to all the different amazing, beautiful aspects of yourself, including your inner child who's going to love having some fun and creating these beautiful paper dolls. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I will see you on Thursday morning. Bye, everybody.